Welcome your beautiful faces back to another video. In today's video, I'm giving you a reason why your team can win the World Series. I'm going to be going through every team in the playoff picture and why they can make a run to make and win the World Series. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below, and comment who do you think is going to win the World Series this year in 2026. Let's get on into it, starting with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, they just got to get in, and maybe they could go and win the World Series. We saw in 2023. The reason why they could win the World Series this year is because they have stars. They have a guy like Corbin Carroll who can absolutely change the series. Maybe, who knows, can Ketel Marte come and play? If he comes back and plays, and Corbin Burnes comes back and is an ace like he once was, that's why they can win the World Series. Other than that, who knows? Maybe some devil magic. Next, we're going to the AL East with the New York Yankees, and it's going to be if Aaron Judge comes back and plays like he does usually in the regular season and not like he usually does in the playoffs. That's going to be the main contributor to them winning the World Series, as well as they have one of the best starting rotations in the league with guys like Max Fried, Cam Schlittler, Garrett Cole's been great, Ryan Weathers has been great, and that rotation can match up with anybody in the playoff series. Even a team like the Dodgers or the Rays, who they might face to even have to try and make the World Series. But I think if everything goes right with the Yankees, Aaron Judge comes back healthy, Giancarlo Stanton comes back healthy, and that rotation is firing on all cylinders, they can win the World Series in 2026. Next, the surprise team of the year this year, the Chicago White Sox. And the reason why they can win the World Series is because they have an absolute firepower offense. They have guys up and down the lineup who know their role and can hit for power. Starting with a guy like Chase Mydroth at the top of that order. He knows what he needs to do every single time. Miguel Vargas, one of the best hitting third basemen in the league. Colson Montgomery can hit for pop. Munetaka Murakami can hit for pop whenever he needs to. And guys like Sam Antonacci also and Tristan Peters lengthen that lineup a lot. And if that lineup can be firing on all cylinders like we have seen them this whole year, they're at 66 and 60. They can be the surprise team and the team of destiny this year. And who knows, they could win the World Series on the back of that offensive firepower. Next, the Houston Astros can win the World Series because they have the best player in the American League in Yordan Alvarez. Yordan Alvarez is probably going to win the Triple Crown this year. And if he just carries this offense throughout the whole playoffs, plays at the top of his game even better than he is right now, Yordan Alvarez can be the key contributor to the Astros winning the World Series, alongside with a guy like Hunter Brown being able to be a dominant starting pitcher at the front end of that rotation to get to the bullpen, to Josh Hader to close games. They have the pieces, they just don't have the overall team. But if those pieces are at the top of their game, Yordan Alvarez hitting home runs every game, Jeremy Pena is hitting like he knows he can, and a guy like Jose Altuve turning back the clocks to 2017 and being that playoff killer we know that he is. The Astros can win the World Series this year. I mean, they're most likely going to win the AL West, so they'll get a stronger matchup, could get a bye to the ALDS, and they won't have to do as much as many other teams will have to do to win the World Series. Next, the Atlanta Braves can win the World Series on the back of that offense as well. Just like similar to the White Sox, the Atlanta Braves have one of the best one of the best offenses in the league, behind guys like Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr., Michael Harris, and others on that team. Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, if he turns back the clock. If that offense, Drake Baldwin, if that offense is firing on all cylinders, they're the best offense in the MLB, in my opinion, if they're all right. And behind an absolute ace and Chris Sale, with a back end of the bullpen of Raisel Iglesias and Robert Suarez, they just need to shorten the game to 7 innings, and they can win the World Series. That offense mashes, that offense rakes whenever they want, and they can carry this team to win the World Series like they did in 2021. And maybe they bring in Jorge Soler to bring those vibes up, to get the 2021 vibes back. I mean, he is a free agent, so if that happens, I think their chances to win the World Series just improve if they bring in a guy like Jorge Soler. Next, the Philadelphia Phillies can win the World Series because they have one of the best three-man rotations in the MLB. Behind guys like Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, and Jesus Luzardo, that's the best top three in the league, in my opinion, and that can win you any playoff series. You just need to win 3 games in the first 2 series to make it past those 2 rounds. And if you get 3 dominant starts in an NLCS series, that should be 3 wins. And then you get one of those guys again. I mean, this team is really just, they can do it all if they're firing on all cylinders. It's all going to come down to Jesus Luzardo. We know what Sanchez and Wheeler can do in the past in their playoff experience, but Jesus Luzardo hasn't been the best playoff performer. But if he can pitch like he has been, this team is scary. Behind guys like Kyle Schwarber, who can hit home runs whenever he wants. Bryce Harper is a great playoff player. Guys like JT Realmuto, guys like Trey Turner, Luis Arias, this lineup's deep, and they're behind one of the best starting rotations in the league. And if they can just take the lead into the 9th inning, give it to Joan Duran, the game's basically over. And I like the Phillies' chances to win the World Series based on their top 3 starting pitchers of Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler, and Jesus Luzardo. Next, the easiest team to say why they can win the World Series is the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, they have the best roster on paper, and that's why they can win it all. Tarik Skubal, Blake Snell, Yamamoto being that 3-man rotation in the playoffs is all you really need. Behind guys like Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Teoscar, Andy Pages, Will Smith's going to come back, Max Muncy. I mean, if Kyle Tucker plays well, who knows? This team's going to be unstoppable, and it should be unstoppable. That's why they can win the World Series. I don't need to spend too much more time talking about them because we've all heard enough about the Los Angeles Dodgers this year. And let's just hope maybe that Edwin Diaz pooping his pants is going to hold them back, but I doubt it. Next, another team in the NL West, San Diego Padres can win the World Series because of that absolute elite bullpen. Behind guys like Morejon, Mason Miller is the best reliever in all of baseball. It's not really close. He could give you 3 innings in a game if he wanted to. We saw what he was doing in the playoffs last year against the Cubs, pumping 104 on the black. I mean, it's absolutely unhittable. He was unhittable in the playoffs last year. If he can replicate that, which we all know he can, it's going to be dangerous for the rest of the league. And having guys like Jeremiah Estrada, Wandy Peralta, Yuki Matsui, Bradley Rodriguez in that bullpen, you just got to shorten the game. You just need their stars to get 5 innings, and you feel confident. And that's why the Padres can win the World Series, because having a great bullpen in October is really a recipe for success. Shorten the game up. Give it to guys you trust the most, and they can win you ball games day in and day out. With Mason Miller in that bullpen, they can win any single game that is close. And I won't be surprised if the Padres win their first ever World Series. Next, moving on to the NL Central, we have the Chicago Cubs, and they can win the World Series because of their defense, and they have one of the deepest lineups in the league. They have the best defense in the league behind a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong, Dansby Swanson, Alex Bregman as their main key defenders. And that lineup, starting with the MVP favorite in Pete Crow Armstrong, Alex Bregman's a playoff performer. Michael Busch, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Carson Kelly, Seiya Suzuki, the list goes on and on. They have depth all across the board, and it's all going to come down whether their starting pitchers get it done. But they can win the World Series based on that defense and based on the offense because they mash and they play defense well behind those pitchers. So they don't need their pitchers to be on their absolute A game because they're going to bail them out with that defense. Pete Crow Armstrong making plays all around the field. Guys like Bregman picking the corner. Dansby Swanson, we saw what he did against the Padres last year in the playoffs at shortstop. If he can come back healthy and be that shortstop we know he can be, he's one of the best defensive shortstops in the league. And behind that defense, the Cubs can win the World Series. Next, the Milwaukee Brewers can win the World Series because they know how to win games. And having a guy like Jacob Misiorowski pitch 2 games each series, that's why you can win it all. He should be a dominant start every time he's on the mound, and being able to get those timely hits behind him, build up that run. They have a great bullpen, and this team is just complete, and that's why they can win the World Series. They have a complete team. They know how to win. They play the game the right way, and Jacob Misiorowski is going to lead them. Moving on to the final couple teams is going to the AL East. The Tampa Bay Rays can win the World Series because they have the best top 3 lineup-wise in the whole MLB with Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, and Junior Caminero. Those 3 can anchor an offense every single game. Junior Caminero can hit multiple home runs every game. Yandy Diaz is one of the best pure hitters in the league, and Jonathan Aranda is always consistent. This team can win the World Series based on the back of those 3 guys, putting up couple runs a game for you, and that pitching is steady and consistent. Drew Rasmussen is one of the best pitchers in the AL. Nick Martinez has been consistent all year long. And Brian Baker has been one of the best closers in the whole league, leading the league in saves, as well as if Shane McClanahan can come back healthy. This team's just complete. We all know the Rays know how to win games. They play the game the right way, and that's why they can win the World Series in 2026. Moving on, the final team is the Boston Red Sox, and they can win the World Series because Roman Anthony is coming back, and he is one of the best hitters in the whole league, and they have one of the best bullpens when healthy in the league. Roman Anthony coming back really shapes up this whole lineup. Lengthens it out, having Roman Anthony at the top, Cedar Rafaela, Willie Abreu, Wilson Contreras, Adley Rutschman, Caleb Durbin. The list goes on and on. This team's deep. They're getting reinforcements back, and they can win the World Series because they have strong pitching, a good offense, and an elite bullpen. Guys like Sonny Gray need to perform. Peyton Toley's been one of the best pitchers this year. Ranger Suarez is one of the best playoff performers in recent memory. And they can win the World Series because they just have a deep and complete team. That's going to be it for today's video. Sorry we didn't cover every single team because not every single team is going to make the playoffs. And you just need to make the playoffs to be able to win the World Series. So that's going to be it. Make sure that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts on October baseball and who you think's going to win the World Series in 2026.